PSA, public service announcement. Guys, coming new to you is our new Patreon here on the channel. Head on over there because you will be getting some exclusive content where you will have more of us, if you want more of us, of course, more of us, direct access. We'll be happy to read out your comments, give you shout outs on these episodes and on the live. So guys, all the fun continues on our Patreon. Head on over. We've got the link down in the description below. We'll see you there. G'day, FanCasters. Welcome to another episode here on the pod where we have a proper footy chat. It's your boy Joe, joined today for the first time by my good friend Steve. How's it going, man?
Yeah, g'day Joe. It just feels super cool jumping on the channel and just can't wait to talk about some footy. Yeah.
100%, man. I know you say you're feeling cool, but it is really hot at this point in time. 29-degree day. We're all feeling it, as were all of the other clubs coming off the trade period. They went down to the wire. I know my boys at the Essendon Football Club, some of those trades, I was sweating buckets. I can't imagine what those players, especially Xavier Dursberg and BZT, were going through. What were your overall thoughts on the trade period?
I thought it was a bit of a unique trade period where, it felt like I'm pretty sure every single club got every deal that they wanted to get done. And also there was a lot of movement, about 35, 36 players getting moved. So I think that would just about have to be a record. So, I thought it was pretty unique like that. But I think the majority of the clubs will feel happy getting all the deals done.
Piggybacking on that idea of it being a very unique sort of draft, there really weren't any out-and-out superstars that made moves either. Like, I feel like this is a year unlike any other where it seems that the movements were by players who have been in the system for some time. They weren't able to get their career up and going, and they're just changing scenery to try and kickstart their careers again.
It felt like that. I think a lot of those type of players certainly looked for a new club. It just felt, there weren't many stars going around. I mean, when you look at the trade period, who do you think is like the headliner? Like, I don't know, Ben Mackay? It's sort of that sort of thing. Maybe Brodie Grundy probably.
No, Lockie Schultz as well, I think, is up there. Lockie Schultz, perhaps?
Yeah. And another thing that I found unique as well is I think there were just a few players where on the last day, oh, by the way, I want to leave.
Yeah.
Cough, cough, Jack Ginnivan. So it was, I think, it was a bit of a unique trade period, I thought. Obviously, fans moaning about everything with compensation and all that, but everyone just knows the rules at this point, so it is what it is.
It's not just the fans, mate. It's your boys over there at the Hawks as well. They're not complaining about pick 3 compensation. It's all
Every
right.
club was.
Well, we weren't because we happily gave it up in order to get our man across. But you mentioned Jack Ginnivan. I know it was a last-minute thing, but you got to be happy with picking him up. I mean, I hate his guts. Don't get me wrong, but like he's still a good player. Yeah. I got to respect him to that much.
No, I'm happy with it. Personally, I would have preferred to have kept Brockman, but I'm just glad we got a small forward through the door because I couldn't. Besides Bruce, there wasn't really an ideal replacement if when Brockman left, so it would have been like Sam Butler or something. So happy with Ginnivan, and hopefully he can behave himself a bit more at the Hawks.
Well, I know he's from reports. I don't know how true this is, but apparently he's already gone up to Sam Mitchell and asked him whether or not he can go to the races on the weekend. So mate, he's off to his smart ass best already.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's totally fine. It's the off season, and I know a lot of people complain about Ginnivan going to the races the night before. I would have been more concerned if you lost the grand final, but he did what he usually does. If he wants to go to the races, just don't drink. Blah blah blah. I mean, I think it's perfectly fine. He had a premiership medallion 24 hours later.
That's exactly right. Well, there's definitely very lucky. Otherwise, that would have been a much bigger talking point,
it would have been a massive story, yeah.
Speaking of going to the races, there are a bunch of clubs that, to different extents, went to the races themselves and they picked the horse, they picked their stallions, who they wanted to win, who they wanted to acquire. They went and got them. Who do you think are your top 3 performers in the draft among the teams that identified a horse, they backed their man, they tried and get him, and they got him? Overall, who do you reckon are 3 teams? We'll just go with one. We'll one at a time.
Who won or lost? Won?
Some winners, yeah. We'll start with some winners.
Yeah, so look, I'm going to go with Sydney as the main winner. They got 4 players in. Brodie Grundy, I think they were pretty desperate to get a ruck in, and I just think he fits in pretty seamlessly. With Carol Mills potentially out for 12 months, ain't that some story? Mad Monday going wrong. I think Taylor Adams is a good replacement for the time being. He can provide some experience there in the midfield alongside Rowbottom, and if they move Goulden in there, the usual suspects. They brought in James Jordan, who I think can play a bigger role in a good team, and I think Sydney can provide that. I thought it was a really good period for them. I thought Brisbane as well. I think they did pretty solidly. Like they strengthened even more with Tom Doty getting into the club, and I think a good pickup as well as Brandon Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's another bloke. I mean, he's similar to Danaher and Hipwood to some extent in terms of size and length and all that. So they'll be interested to see how he fits in. Will he get a game every week? I'm not 100% sure, but I do think a full preseason will do him wonders. So I've got Brisbane as well. And as I said, Tom Doty making a grand final and still improving a list. I think that's really good, especially with, who is it, Marcus Adams retiring from concussion. I think he's a good instant replacement there. And I've got Collingwood, just another club who are in that premiership window, getting an upgrade over Jack Ginnivan with Lockie Schultz. Now they move Ginnivan on, but that's all right. Lockie Schultz is a much better player, and I think he'll do very well for them.
I didn't even think Ginnivan was going to see the light of day, if not for an injury this year, after they added Bobby Hill. I thought, they've now got Jamie Elliott and Bobby Hill too, in great small forwards. And we saw what happened in the grand final. Bobby Hill's capable of winning a grand final off his own boot, 5 goals, and he set up another 2 as well. So he was clear as day, by far and away the best player in a grand final winning side. So I wasn't surprised that they were going to move Ginnivan on. There was some talk during the year that apparently Ginnivan might be, I'm looking at you, Dave Swizz, that Ginnivan might be on his way across to the Tigers. So that obviously changed a lot. He's gone to a team that has yellow in him, but yellow and brown there, the poos and the wees. But I think you're right. Brodie Grundy's absolutely one of those great pickups. Collingwood is still paying his salary, which is ridiculous.
That's funny.
And they want a flag. They want a flag paying Brodie Grundy
give a crap. They just
and
want a
paying
flag.
Adams. Yeah, exactly. Not Treloar. I mean, not Adams.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taylor Adams, I agree. He's a great pickup there for the Swans. I also think Joel Hamling is one that not many people are talking about.
Yep.
I think Joel Hamling, he's had a really injury-riddled last couple of seasons, but when he's up and firing, and he's a great defensive one-on-one sort of player, a lockdown player. They've obviously lost Paddy McCartan to concussions, so I just think Joel Hamling will fit in perfectly where Paddy McCartan left off. He's capable of playing on the big number ones, and that allows the others like your Blakeys, Lizard, he loves to get off and run to the races. Ollie Florent, also good at ground level. Lloyd, the Seagull, also good at ground level. So you got a bunch of players at ground level. They struggled against the bigs, and I think Joel Hamling is a great shrewd pickup for him. I know Freo wanted to hold on to him because Freo have lost some key position depth down back to North Melbourne. So I think they wanted to hold on to him. Alas, Sydney, they saw what they wanted and they went for it. So I agree. I think Sydney Swans are by far and away, I think clearly number one.
Yeah,
Best performers. Who do you have second, sorry?
I was going to say Brisbane, probably.
Yeah.
That might be a bit of a rogue call, but I just think getting Tom Doty, I know he's probably only going to come back round 8 roughly, but I just think he really strengthens them, and he's a really underrated player, and it's a bad loss for Adelaide. I don't think he was particularly happy not getting the captaincy after Sloan. Yeah, Sloan gave it up. So, and I put Collingwood third, just getting in Lockie Schultz, just bolstering that small that forward line. Also, one thing I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Do you reckon? So we're still speaking about the trade period.
Of course.
Would you say from the 2022 trade period? Would you say after that grand final, Bobby Hill is the number one recruit of the year? No, recruit of the year. out of everyone from last year's trade period. I think he just about has to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to bring this guy in for just about nothing for a bag of chips,
bugger all,
coming across, and he's won you guys a grand final, kicking 5 goals, setting up 2 in what was a 4-point win.
Yeah.
He's got to be. Just because at the end of the day, it is a result-based industry.
Yep.
And it's all about the results. And this guy is just all result. He's just, the fact that he's walking around with a Norm Smith medal around his neck is all of the evidence that you need. So I think I'd agree with you in saying that Bobby Hill is the number 1 recruit of the year. Yes, I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, long term's long term, but for the short term, it has to be him. In my
today, yeah, absolutely. Because no one's achieved as much.
No, not as right now. Norm Smith medalist.
On the same token, someone might say, "Oh, Billy Frampton came across as well, and now he's got a premiership medal around his neck as well."
Hey, everything's worth it if you win a premiership. Everything's worth it.
I agree. No talk about Port Adelaide. I think they were also among the most busiest, the most active when it comes to the trade period. They got a Sava. They finally got a Sava out of Galea, who they were fighting very hard with Geelong over. They managed to pick up Ivan Soldo on the last day as well. Jordan Sweet, they've got 2 number 1 rucks now after Scott Lysette left the side. And then they picked up BZT as well, Brandon Zerk-Thatcher. Good luck to him. And they left, and all they lost was, I say all they lost was Xavier Duursma. I think Xavier Duursma, in terms of talent, better than all those players. But you lost 1 and they gained 4. That's pretty good.
I know they were busy, but does that mean, was it a great trade period for them? I wouldn't say so. They're all right pickups. They can, I don't know, I think Tom Cleary can still do a job like Zerk-Thatcher and Radaglia and that type. I think they're the same quality, but they do bring that height that they need. I think their main need, I feel, was a big body key forward to replace he's not
Dixon.
retired yet, but Charlie Dixon.
Help Dixon out.
He's on one leg these days.
He is.
You got Georgiades and Todd Marshall and Finn Layson, but they're not that bruising power forward where they can make the contest and let the crummers go, get Evans to work, that sort of thing. I thought they were busy. It's similar to Hawthorn in my opinion with me. They were busy, but I'm not 100% sure it was a great trade period for them. I think Port, they'll be all right. I wonder who will be the number 1 ruck out of Sweet and Soldo. Because Soldo can rotate forward.
Yeah.
But can you play with both? I guess you can now with the sub rule, but I guess Soldo could be that bruising forward, but I think he's better as a ruck.
It's a bit of a worry, though. You might be thinking, mate, are we going to see a Grundy Gawn situation all over again in terms of having
but the
2 number 1 rucks on the same team?
But the difference is it's Sweet and Soldo.
It's almost like sweet and sour. Sweet and sourdough. Sourdough. Sorry, guys. Forgive me. That was a really bad one.
That's a good combination there.
Sweet and sourdough.
No, I actually think it'll be a good opportunity for Sweet. I think he would be a little bit disappointed that Soldo also came in. But I think he can be a really good ruck with more opportunity. But you hope it comes with still with Soldo coming in. So I think, Radaglia was good for 1 year. Down back, he's on a longer-term contract on a lot more money, so we'll see if he continues to evolve. I do think he has the tools to become even better from here.
Mm-hmm. I think it depends a lot on how that midfield group goes. A lot of these defenders rely a lot on the pressure that the midfielders can place on the ball carrier.
Yeah.
And he could be a break glass and emergency centre forward as a swingman because he's obviously played a lot of his career forward. Yeah. And then he's obviously now in this past season moved more into the back line. So, he could be a swingman in break glass in case of emergency just to change the complexion of the game. Yeah,
very true. And then Zerk-Thatcher, he had a tough deal at Essendon, basically playing on the best key forward every week.
And that's not his game.
No, so you hope that will be Radaglia instead. And Zerk-Thatcher, I think, can be much better on the second best
for sure.
key forward. I just think he had a tough gig with it.
And that's what we saw this year. Whenever BZT was getting manhandled or getting beaten by a better opposition, and we would obviously flip the magnets around and put Ridley on them, and all of a sudden BZT would do a lot better on that second key forward. So, I do think that we utilize BZT wrongly. I think had he played the role that he's meant to be playing, I think it would have been fair to have just a straight swap of players. But unfortunately, he's like won the reverse Coleman in terms of goals kicked on him, by no fault of his own. I think he's a go getter. He tries his best. Yep. He gets beat just by bigger guys. But he kept getting back up again. So I can respect that. He wants to go back home. So I think it's a great pickup.
And I think it's a win-win for both clubs in that situation as well. You guys get to pick up Mackay. You get Dersma in that trade, who I do think has the high ceiling.
Yes, I agree.
Just whether Essendon will use him correctly, which I would hope they would. But I think he's a winger.
He is.
Who's your other winger?
We've got Nick Martin, mate.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Nick Martin.
How can you forget about Nick Martin?
I know. Sorry, it's off-season mode. I've totally forgotten about all the players. So you got Martin and Dersma on the wing. If Dersma can stay healthy, then that's going to be a good pickup.
100%, I agree.
I do think he has that talent and got to see the celebration a couple of times too. Yeah.
Fire off some arrows, baby. I know that Hawks, you guys got your own personality in Jack Ginnivan, who we had to speak about before. Obviously picked up Jack Gunston. He's coming back home. How you feel about that?
Oh,
not overly incredible.
Now I love Jack Gunston, but I'm not in love with bringing him back. My dad brought up a really good analogy for it. You leave your parents' house, you're renting out. 12 months later, you want to come back home. Oh, it's too hard. Blah blah blah. Can't get in the team or can't pay rent. Blah blah blah. And obviously the family welcome you back home, but it's like, yeah, it's nice and all, but your bedroom's now a study. It's that sort of thing. So do you get what I mean?
Yes, I get what you mean.
Everything's like
things have changed.
Yeah, and now we lose Brandon Ryan. So
I think that's a loss there. I think Brandon Ryan's he would be better in your team than Gunston at this point.
Yeah, it was basically Ryan for Chol. And I mean, I think we sold high on Ryan. I think he could be very good, especially with a couple of pre-seasons under the belt.
Yeah.
But I think we just sold high on Ryan. I think Chol does fit our team better than Ryan did because he can pitch hit in the ruck.
Mm-hmm.
Reeves and Meek can't play in the same team. They're both just pure rucks. So he can pinch hit while Reeves has a spell. Getting more of a goal kicker in. I think Brandon Ryan can be like that, but he misses a lot of shots. I remember his first game for Box Hill when we picked him up, he kicked 0 goals, 7. But left footer, I think he's super talented. It's sad to see Ryan go. Don't mind Gunston coming back. Can be a biller for a couple of seasons, probably one season.
Yeah. But you picked up another left footer in Massimo D'Ambrosio. I think that's a great pickup as well.
Yeah, and it wouldn't really surprise me at all if he's the best pickup out of the 4. Just really flown under the radar there. You got a future 4th and 61, I think. So
for someone that we picked up in the mid-season draft,
you guys weren't really going to use him.
And we weren't playing him. Super sub, really. So I think it's a fair transaction there.
Yeah.
I think it's a win-win for both clubs. So
yeah, he'll get more of an opportunity. I think D'Ambrosio, he'll certainly get more opportunity. I think Sam Mitchell likes his skill set. So I think, you guys, what would you say his best position is? Obviously,
he's definitely a halfbacker.
Halfback, yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely halfback.
Yeah, well, he can sort of compete with CJ a bit.
He's a different type of player. CJ's
different
massive,
type, different type. Maybe more like a Seamus Mitchell, something like that. So maybe they can both compete with each other. I think he's a good kick. Apparently,
he is a good kick. Yep.
Fast.
Yeah, relatively.
Yep. So
he's not beating Nick Hind out in a race.
How's he like as a defender? Would you say just doesn't know where to stand, or
part of the reason why we didn't play him so much is because he's very offensively nature when it comes to the way he sets up.
Yeah.
And he's very looking to get out into space and use his ball kicking really well. I think, Collingwood-esque. These defenders that rely on their key backs to bring the ball to ground, and then their smalls are often away they go. So I think it's a different sort of I'm sure Sam Mitchell will find a way to use him. Brad Scott couldn't find a way to use him for us.
Yeah.
He just couldn't get ahead of Nick Hind or Andy McGrath, both
Yeah.
of who are playing that role for us already. So,
Yeah. No, it makes sense for both clubs. So
yeah, it does.
I thought it was a solid trade period for us. Brockman hurts. I really like Brockman. He's going to be really good. But there was nothing we could do. He was worth a punt at pick 46.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, just didn't work out. Did all we could to keep him home, but obviously he's got a family back in Perth and we gave him time to go back, but it was totally understandable, and West Coast have got a really good player. Once they're up and going, I think the first couple of years will be tough for him, just because of how bad they are. Like, they just can't get in their forward line enough.
Of course.
And Brockman's a bloke where he's not a goal kicker. I mean, he's only very young. Just at the minute, he's not a goal kicker. He does apply really good pressure. He's really good overhead as a small forward. Does have a great step, so he can get by defenders pretty well. So I think they've got a really good pickup there. So bad loss. Cozzy, best of luck.
Yeah, take the Tigers. You'll be fine.
Yep, you'll get better opportunity next to Tom Lynch. If you can just create a contest, you'll do fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not fully sold with him. So, look, best of luck to him, but it does hurt losing Ryan and Brocky.
I know at the Bombers, we don't feel any loss whatsoever. We are feeling up and about. We're very happy. Thank you to Doro for your long service of nothing.
I wish he stayed.
Yeah, I know you. I bet you do. But no, you've given us a good trade period this year. Really appreciate it. I think we're also big winners of the trade period.
Yep,
we gained 4 upgrades to our list whilst also improving our draft position. So I'd have the Bombers up there.
Yep,
and in terms of losers, I'd say Richmond were not great. I'd say the Giants, just by virtue of them not participating.
Not by participating.
They lost Flynn.
Would you say they're a loser?
Nah, I wouldn't say they're a loser.
Yeah.
I'd say they're almost just a participation award.
Yeah.
For
what they do
them.
get
They just lost Flynn.
And they'll get Fantasia in the rookie draft.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wonder how he'll go.
That would be interesting. If he can stay fit, he'll be good.
If he's another Jesse Hogan, then it'd be a great pickup.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode here on the podcast. Stay tuned because we do go live very shortly here on Friday nights. Chuck us through your questions. It will be Steve and myself. Give us a like if you like what you saw here, a subscribe if you're new, and tell your friends and family that here at FanCast, we have a proper footy chat. Steve, thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
Mate, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime, guys. We'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.